gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, learners and listeners, advocates, administrators, advisors, the most honorable present Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, availability of respected ministers and doctors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr.RK from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action of listening with 100% present sense of mind. I thank God who has given us this wonderful time for listening the truth of science and spirituality. How our Indian citizen can change. How an Indian citizen can bring change, revolutionary, visionary in their profession. It is really required a great understanding of their mind and heart. How we can create pleasing personalities in our nation for the betterment and upliftment of our nation and society, for making our nation finer, nicer, greater, higher in all the fields, in all the skills, trainings. Our present Prime Minister is efforting well for that. Our state government is also enforcing for providing the skills to our youngsters that will make our nation economically strong and politically in all the fields of study. Our nation will get the first position all over the world. Our nation is required spiritual standard of our values that will make our nation satisfied spiritualistically but not materialistically. Our spiritual standard is greatly needed. Youth energy. For sustaining this energy, for maintaining this energy, a man has to think himself special on this land. I will pay more for the ability to deal with people than for any other ability under the sun. Dear friends, you know that the sun is our teacher of the day. Whenever we get up early in the morning, it nurtures us, treats us, provides us everlasting soothing effect of our mind and heart. The sun is multi-dimensional, multi-sided and multifaceted personality. It shows unity and diversity. Dear friends, you know that the sun is only one part of the nature. In the daytime, it creates, makes us awakened, aware to do personally, professionally, higher than before. Friends, we must think that our present lies in the past. But we have to keep our mind in present, 100% present. That will make us pleasing personality. If we keep our mind in 100% present sense of mind, and we have God with us, that will provide, that will make pleasing personality, happier personality of the word, because his word has the superb identity in the form of unity and diversity. He himself created unities, varieties, diversities, adversities, but we are to praise, admire, appreciate as much as we can in the form of colors, multicolors, multicultures, multi-caste, multi-creed. So dear friends, our nation is really a great wonder on this land. We do not have business problems. We have people problems. When we solve our people problems, when we solve our people problems, business problems are substantially resolved. Unity and diversity is also the part of our kinds of people, varieties of people. People knowledge is more important than product knowledge. People knowledge is important than product knowledge. Spiritually, nationally, internationally, worldly, we need people knowledge. How to identify, how to get information, how to get knowledge, instruction, direction from the people. It is needed. While introducing, while interacting with people, what we should think, it is greatly needed in the training for our youngsters. Successful people build pleasing and magnetic personalities, which is what makes them charismatic. This helps in getting friendly cooperation from others. By knowing the interests of others, we can involve with them. We feel pleasing while indulging with them. A pleasing personality is easy to recognize but hard to define. Humbleness, politeness is greatly needed. Humility makes us victor. Arrogant loses all whosoever. It is apparent in the way a person walks and talks. His tone of voice, the warmth in his behavior, and his definite level of confidence. Some people never lose their attractiveness, regardless of age, because it flows both from the face and the heart. This is the presence of Lord. If we have the presence of Lord with us, then the presence of that super spiritual power of Lord makes our heart happy, friendly, fearless, horrorless, terrorless. It is only the presence of God. A pleasing personality is a combination of a person's attitude. Any person's attitude does matter, behavior, and expressions. It doesn't matter how many problems we have. If we have problems, then we have numberless solutions of these problems. But person's attitude, behavior, and experiences does matter. Wearing a pleasant expression is more important than anything else. You have, you wear, you wear. It takes a lot more than a shoe shine and a manicure to give a person polish. Charming manners used to disguise a poor character may work in the short run but reveal themselves rather quickly. Relationships based on talent and personality alone without character make life miserable. Relationships that we create on talent and personality alone without character make life miserable. Means, dear brother, dear friends, it is rightly said that if your money is lost, nothing is lost. If your health is lost, something is lost. But if your character is lost, everything is lost. It is the greatest superb teaching of our holy characters, of our holy land, of holy religions. But dear friends, in this dark age, our theory, our principle and doctrine of life has been totally changed. We think that if your character is lost, nothing is lost. If your health is lost, then something is lost. But if your money is lost, nothing is lost. Everything is lost. So many ideas we have created through our brainchild. But the true spiritualistic nation, standard of our nation, makes it clear that if your character is lost, everything is lost. Through our holy scriptures, through the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, Mryada Purush Purushottam Shri Ramchandra Ji Maharaj also emphasized on our character, and we celebrate numberless festivals in appreciation of the characteristic personalities featured and characteristical personalities of our world. Christmas or Krishna without character is like good looks without goodness. Good looks without goodness. The base of our character is our attitude, our behavior and expressions. The bottom line is a lasting winning combination requires both character and charisma. Be courteous to all, but intimate with a few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. True friendship is a plant of slow growth and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity before it is entitled to the appellation. I'm sorry. Life is an echo. A little boy got angry with his mother and shouted at her, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Because of fear of reprimand, He ran out of the house. He went up to the valley and shouted, I hate you, I hate you. And back came the echo, I hate you, I hate you. This was the first time in his life he had heard an echo. He got scared, went to his mother for protection, and said there was a bad boy in the valley who shouted, I hate you, I hate you. The mother understood and she asked her son to go back and shout, I love you, I love you, I love you. The little boy went and shouted, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And back came the echo that taught the little boy a lesson that our life is little an echo. We get back what we give. Benjamin Franklin said, when you are good to others, you are best to yourself. Dear friends, do not try to compare with others yourself. If you want to compare yourself, then you have to compare your present with your past personally. That will help you a lot in counting the blessings of God or Lord, whose presence will make you sure that God does exist with you. Life is a boomerang. Life is boomerang. Without whether it is our thoughts, actions or behavior, sooner or later, they return and with great accuracy. Treat people with respect on your way up because you will be meeting them on your way down. The following story, the given story, is taken from the best of bits and pieces. Many years ago, two boys were working their way through Stanford University. Stanford University, their funds got desperately low, and the idea came to them to engage Ignacy Petrovatsky for a piano recital. They would use the funds to help pay their board and tuition. The great pianist's manager asked for a guarantee of $2,000. The guarantee was a lot of money in those days, but the boys agreed and proceeded to promote the concert. They worked hard only to find that they had grossed only $600. After the concert, the two boys told the great artist the bad news. They gave him the entire $600 along with a promissory note of $400, explaining that they would earn the amount at the earliest possible moment and send the money to him. It looked like the end of their college careers. No, boys, replied Petrovatsky. That won't do. Then, tearing the note in two, he returned the money to them as well. Now he told them, take out of this $600 all of your expenses and keep for each of you 10% of the balance for your work. Let me have the rest. The years rolled by. Wordward, I came and went. Petrovatsky, note premier of Poland, was striving to feed thousands of starving people in his native land. The only person in the world who could help him was Herbert Hoover, who was in charge of the US Food and Relief Bureau. Hoover responded, and soon thousands of tons of food were sent to Poland. After these starving people were fed, Paderewski journeyed to Paris to thank Hoover for the relief sent him. That's all right, Mr. Paderewski was Hoover's reply. Besides, you don't remember it, but you helped me once when I was a student at college and while I was in trouble. It is one of the most beautiful comprehensions of life that no man can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. Dear friends, brothers, sisters, gentlemen, ladies, professionals, professors, it is strongly applicable in our lifestyle. God helps those who helps themselves. हिम्मते मर्दा मत दे खुदा, हिम्मत करे अगर इंसान तो सहायता करे भगवान. It is the superb lesson for recreating, reoperating, redeveloping our nation. Our nation is known as the nation of starters, beginners, initiators, and we are the founders of this nation. Our all worldly scriptures were written, read, spoken, learnt with the nature. We know our nation's values with the nature. Our nature, atmosphere and environment has the strong characteristic in the form of unity in diversity. Being a developing nation, we have the developed spiritualistic standard of our values of our nation. We are to keep these values and morals, spirituality, along with our actions. Our actions speak louder than words. Yes, goodness has a way of coming back. That is the nature of the beast. One doesn't have to do good with a desire to get back. It just happens automatically. We see things not the way they are, but the way we are. There is a legend about a wise man who was sitting outside his village. A traveler came up and asked him, "What kind of people live in this village? Because I am looking to move from my present one." The wise man asked, "What kind of people live there you want to move from?" The man said, "They are mean, cruel, rude." The wise man replied, "The same kind of people live in this village too." After some time, another traveler came by and asked the people asked the same question, and the wise man asked him, "What kind of people live where you want to move from?" And the traveler replied, "The people are very kind, courteous and polite," and said, "You will find the same kind of people here too." What is the moral of the story? Generally, We see the word, not the way. It is but the way we are. Most of the time, the other people's behavior is a reaction to our own. Dear friends, you are understanding what are our spiritualistic values of our nation. We are to make our nation strong. As per the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda, he went in the USA, in the America, for the upliftment and betterment of our nation. He taught the same lesson of character that make us happier personality, pleasing personality. And then we think about ourselves, about himself, not themselves. So this is the unique mantra, unique formula for our nation that is to be applied professionally. Trust. I believe all relationships are trust relationships, such as employer or employee, parent or child, husband or wife, student or teacher, buyer or seller, customer or salesperson. How can we have trust without integrity? Crisis in trust really means crisis in truth. Trust results from being trustworthy. What is the truth, what is the trust, and what is the term trustworthy? We can understand very easily. If we are teacher, we can know about ourselves from the student. An ideal student is an ideal teacher. An ideal patient is an ideal doctor. An ideal customer is an ideal salesman. So dear friends, politeness, humbleness make us victorious. We get victory and visionary thoughts. It is also the result of trust. Our relations are known by trust and belief and faith. If we don't have trust, don't have faith, don't have belief, then there is no relationship. What are the two factors that build trust? Reliability gives predictability and comes from commitment. This is the power of reliability that makes strong our trust building, and give predictability comes from commitment. Sometimes we commit with someone, then we predict about that, and that brings reliability, responsibility. This is the great responsibility of our youngsters, like Swami Vivekananda, who promised and committed with the word by saying that return to the Vedas, return to your nature, return to your childhood. Consistency, stability builds confidence. Unchanging stable, permanent. These words are used for the strong characters of the nation, those who become the foundation of the nation. They brings consistency in their relations for bringing trust each other, for becoming trustworthy, respect to self and others, gives dignity and shows a caring attitude. Dignity, glory, beauty of the nation comes by doing respect of others. It is rightly said that respect begets respect. So we must respect our elders, seniors, and honorable personalities of our nation and society. This will bring trust, faith, belief, and will make us trustworthy, faithful, fairness. To be frank and blunt in speaking, you are to say, I am speaking bluntly and frankly. I am not speaking, I am not beating about the bush. I am speaking spade and spade. Appeals to justice and integrity. Being a fair person appeals to justice and integrity, unity of our nation. It will bring trust and will make us trustworthy. Dear friends, you are listening. How we can grow internationally. These are to be applied and implemented practically and fundamentally. Openness appeals to justice and integrity. Openness shows two-way traffic. Congruence, action and words harmonize. If a person says one thing and behaves differently, how can you trust that person? How can you trust that person? It is hard to believe. Competence comes when a person has the ability and the attitude to serve. Both are required. First comes when a person has the ability. Ability first is needed. Secondly, the attitude to serve for creating the trust, faith, belief. Competence is required. If you have ability but don't have attitude, how you will bring trust? Next is integrity. The key ingredient, to trust. Integrity, unity, acceptance. In spite of our effort to improve, we need to accept each other with our pulses and minuses. With our pluses and minuses. Acceptance it brings. It makes us professionally, acceptedly, we will receive, achieve, acceptance. In spite of our effort to improve, we need to accept each other with our pluses and minuses, with our merits and demerits, with our do's and don'ts, with our advantages and disadvantages. In both the cases, so dear friends, ultimately we will discuss our character. A person may have all the competence, but if he lacks character, he can't be trusted. Trust is a greater compliment than love. There are some people who love, but we can't trust them. Relationships are like bank accounts. The more we deposit, the greater they become. Therefore, the more we can draw from them. However, if you try to draw without depositing, it leads to disappointment. Many times we feel we are overdrawn, but in reality we may be under deposited. Below are some of the consequences of poor relationships and the lack of trust: stress, lack of communication, irritation, close-mindedness, no team spirit, lack of credibility, poor self-esteem, suspicion, loss of productivity, isolation, poor health, distrust, anger, prejudice, breakdown of morale, uncooperative behavior, conflict, frustration, unhappiness. What are some factors that prevent building and maintaining positive relationships? Most of them are self-explanatory or elaborated on her selfishness. It prevents building and maintaining positive relationships. One weakness, shortcoming, drawback that we have, and that was strongly appealed, advocated by Swami Vivekananda, saying that, gentlemen, dear friends, if we are selfish, unrelentingly, unceasingly, unstoppingly, if we will not work for our nation, then we will become selfish. So it is the great condition, term and condition for the betterment, upliftment of our character, nation, of our society, to be selfless. Don't think about fruits. Without desires, you are to work. Unexpectedly you are to work. But you have hope against hope. You have expectations only for doing better. Lack of courtesy. If we are civilized, well-mannered, skilled, then automatically we can bring courtesy. And courtesy comes from inside, not from outside. Inconsiderate behavior. How do we behave with others? If we are inconsiderate, unthinkable about our behavior, how we can say a man is man? Not meeting commitments, rude behavior, lack of integrity and honesty. If we are not sincere, then we become false. Self-centeredness. A person all wrapped up in himself makes a pretty small package. Arrogance. An arrogant person is content with his opinion and knowledge that will guarantee him perpetual ignorance. Conceit, since nature abhors a vacuum, she fills empty heads with conceit. John bragged, "My son gets his intelligence from me." His wife replied, "I am sure he does, because I have still get mine." Negative attitude, closed mind, lack of listening, suspicious nature, lack of respect for values, means low morals, lack of discipline, lack of compassion, cruelty is a sign of weakness, impatience, anger, temper gets a person in trouble and ego keeps him there. Manipulative behavior, escapist behavior, touchy nature, inconsistency, unwillingness to accept the truth, past bad experience, an uncaring attitude. Being ignored is not a good feeling. It shows a lack of concern. So, dear friends, brothers, sisters, you know that how we can become a pleasing personality. Greed is like seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. This probably is not an all-inclusive list. Most of us may have some of the characteristics mentioned here. Some may have more of one than the other. The objective is to evaluate and adjust course in those areas. Dear friends, we know that our spirit or soul has come on this earth to get the height of freedom. Our nation is known as the freedom fighters, messengers, free thinkers, forefathers, foretellers, forecaster, those who came first on this land for the freedom of our soul or spirit. Around our spirit or soul we have so many negativities that has covered us, that put us away from the true spiritualistic standard of our soul. If our mind is so greater, higher, nicer, finer in speed, in measuring the speed by the online programs on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, we think we are studying at home, we are learning at home just by copying, imitating, recording, history, past. Undoubtedly we are learning, but we are to thank them for getting reverse of that in the form of numberless thanks. If you will give one thank, then you will get numberless thanks in exchange of that. So dear friends, we must thank God truly and heartily. Wholeheartedly we are to devote and dedicate ourselves. Then we will feel the spiritualistic standard of our nation. Then our soul will get freedom to fly high in the sky. Then this sky will become unlimited. Now we have become conceited, self-centered, selfishness. That is the great trouble, hindrance, obstacle in growing our nation. So dear friends, we must think the productivity of nation by doing pranayama, meditation, method of meditation, Repetition of holy words of God that will bring real trust, true trust, and that will create us in us the pleasing personality. Then definitely we will grow and our soul will get the freedom to fly in the for getting the higher, stronger speed than our mind. Thanks, brothers and sisters. Ultimately and initially, you know that what is the truth of science and spirituality. Thanks, God, for providing us this superb, matchless, unparalleled time, place, and action, listening with 100% present sense of mind.